As you can see right here, last payment, $55,624. It's 2023 and people are still talking about building business credit using gas cards, Quill, Uline, and Granger. Or better yet, what Paydex score do I need to get a business line of credit from the bank? Here's the truth. The banks don't care about your Paydex score. Now, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but the best way to build actual real business credit that lenders actually use in a lending decision to give you a loan, credit card, or a line of credit is to have good personal credit. There are no doc business loans, business credit cards, and business lines of credit that you can get right now that's based on having good personal credit where there's no financials required. So in today's video, I'm gonna lay out the blueprint on how to build business credit that banks actually care about. So step one, you wanna have good personal credit. Step two, find banks that use or report financial trade data. So we're talking about accounts that either use Experian Business, Equifax Business, or PayNet. And I'm gonna get into that in just a second. So I've provided a sample of different banks, as you can see right here, that actually either use or report to Equifax, Experian, or PayNet financial account details. So these are financial trade data, right? So this isn't net 30 accounts. As you can see on here, these are term loans, lines of credit, commercial credit cards, right? So here's another example, and this is an Experian Business Credit Report, right? So this shows lender consortium experiences, right? As you see right here, financial exchange trades. So we're not talking about net 30s. If you look at the account type, these are commercial credit cards, lines of credit, and term loans. And this is the type of data point that you need reporting on your business credit report. And again, business credit is going to be supplemental information. So it's not going to be the main driver, but it will also help you with supplementing your personal credit or any other information data points that are needed in the lending decision. The next step is strategically using the business credit. And I'm going to talk about manufacturing credit and payment data, right? So what I do is I pay all of my business expenses and bills using a business credit card. So I'm transacting, right? I'm never using a business debit card for anything, right? Business credit card. So if you have recurring business expenses, subscriptions, you put all of that on a business credit card, right? And then the next step of this, right? You want to let your business revenue and deposits stack up. So what I do is, I let the expenses stack up on the business credit card. And then maybe after a couple of months, maybe 2 to 3 months, I'll then use the business line of credit to pay down the business credit card. So what I do is I transfer from the business line of credit, and I have set up multiple, checking accounts. So I'll have a checking account or business checking account where just all revenue flows through. So it just shows money going in, and then an account where I'm making transfer from the business line of credit to the business checking account. And then from that business checking account, I'm using that one to pay down the business credit card or any other expenses that I might have. Let's say I'm, plan on applying for additional credit down the road, right? You want to position yourself in the best possible way. And what I do is, I just have a revenue account that really just shows revenue flowing, and it's not really showing deposits leaving because you want to show high deposits, right? Month over month increases in your average daily balance. Some people say, don't keep any money in the bank. And I actually somewhat disagree to that, right? And I use what's called the bait and hook strategy, because one thing you have to realize is that banks work off the fractional reserve system, right? So banks can lend out a certain amount of money in relation to the deposits that they have. And so let's say, for example, you have $1,000 in your bank account. You're pretty much enabling the bank to lend your money out 10 times over. So if you put 1,000 in, the banks can lend out 10,000, or it actually might be more than that. So by you having money in the bank, you're positioning yourself as an asset to the bank. When you have money in the bank, you have what's called a bank rating. And so the bank rating looks at your average daily balance over a 90-day period. And so if you have money sitting in the bank, you pose less of a risk because, again, banks going to be more willing to lend you money if they know you already have money that you're not really using. I know it sounds somewhat counterintuitive, but just think of your deposits, your revenue streams flowing in as bait to get more loans, bigger lines of credit, and things like that. And so that's one of the strategies that I use. And so by being able to show high balances is going to increase your chances of getting approved. Now, let me show you an actual practical example of what I'm talking about. All right, so right here, so this is the Truist business line of credit. Now, right here, you see I have a balance of $55,624, right? And basically what I was saying, what I do is, I let my expenses run up on the business credit cards, right? And then I pay off the business credit card using the business line of credit. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I'm manufacturing data points, right? Because on your Equifax business credit report, it actually shows you the last payment, right? So let me just show you all that real quick. It says the last payment amount, right? So it has last payment amount on your Equifax business credit report. So right here, this is an example, $19,000, that was one of the payments that I made. So you see where I'm going here, right? So if you're demonstrating on your business credit report that you have the capacity to make these large payments, that's going to help you with getting large lines of credit, large limits. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, manufacturing data, right? So right now I'm going to make this one-time payment for $55,624. This is going to report on my Equifax business credit report. So just imagine that, on your credit report, it says that you made a payment of $55,600, right? How do you think that's going to play out when you're applying for, let's say another lender that uses Equifax and they say, okay, wow, you have the ability to pay such a large amount. Now, I'm not saying to go out and just run up the line of credit, right? If you want, you can literally manufacture data by just pulling money off the line of credit and using that same money to repay the line of credit, because either way, those payments are going to report on your Equifax business credit report and your Experian business credit report. So there you have it. I laid out the blueprint on how to build business credit that banks actually care about. So first step is you're going to need to have good personal credit. I recommend having over 700, 720 plus, ideally across Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You're also going to want to identify lenders that use or report to Equifax Business, Experian Business, and or PayNet. The reason why is because financial trade data is what lenders actually use and assess if you're trying to get business loans, credit cards, and lines of credit. Getting Net 30 vendor accounts is not going to unlock business credit cards, loans, and lines of credit with commercial banks. Now, the analogy that I gave you earlier is that Net 30 vendor credit is the business credit equivalent of consumer finance accounts on personal credit. They just don't hold the same weight. Once you identify those institutions that actually report, what you want to do is strategically use those business credit accounts, use them, make payments on them. And another thing I wanted to also throw out, if you're trying to get like a very high limit, and anyone who's had like an American Express with a very high limit, you know that it's not just about your credit, right? It's more so about your level of spend, because they want to see that you have the ability, the capacity to use the credit, but also pay it back. And that's how you're going to unlock the big lines of credit. And one good way that you can do that is demonstrating that not only through your transaction behavior with the institution, but also if that information makes its way onto your business credit reports. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Let me know your comments and questions right down below. And until next time, take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.